I've often been asked by people why they need trauma insurance, particularly if they haven't got any debt. Obviously, trauma insurance has a great effect in resolving debt in the event of critical illness such as heart attack and cancer and stroke. But people say, well, if I don't have any debt, why do I need trauma insurance? The interesting thing is that it's more about resolving debt. There are things like having to modify our home in the event of us having a critical illness and perhaps even finish up in a wheelchair. There's the need for extensive travel to get to medical care. There's the need to supplement our superannuation because our earning capacity has been reduced. Interestingly though, there are lots of things that can cause us to have debt in the event of us being critically ill. So the bottom line is that whilst trauma insurance can resolve debt, it also has a great part to play in preventing us from incurring debt. So it's not all about people that need to resolve debt. In fact, a number of our clients that have had trauma claims have been so thankful even though they didn't have substantial debt. One client comes to mind who was a wealthy engineer, some $2 million in his super fund, and earning a nice salary of around $500,000 a year. He had cancer, which he recovered from. However, he received a lump sum of some $500,000. His testimonial is quite revealing in the fact that it enabled him to focus on recovery and released the anxiety around having to dig into his assets at a time which would have caused him greater anxiety and therefore having an effect on his ability to recover. A similar story around another guy, a Welshman actually, who had also substantial assets, who received a benefit of $75,000. He wrote us a testimonial saying, when Mike introduced this concept to me, I didn't think I needed it, but we took it anyway. He later reduced the cover from $100,000 to $75,000, but his letter explains what it meant to him and his family to have that $75,000 to pay for all the things that he didn't think he'd have to pay for, and prevented him from digging into his savings. Let's face it, we spend a lot of time accumulating assets through blood, sweat and tears. The last thing we want to see is those assets and that cash disappear out the door when we could have done something to stop that happening.